Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Reproduction in Living Organisms. Question 26 to 30. Outline the post-fertilization events that take place in a flowering plant. B. Give the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative propagation. Outline the post-fertilization event that takes place in a flower. The embryo sac divides repeatedly by mitosis to form a zygote. The endosperm nucleus forms the endosperm. As embryo expands, the nucellus is crushed out of existence. The ovules develop into seeds. The integuments become seed coat. The outer integuments become the testa. The inner integuments become the tegmen. Ovary develops into a fruit. Ovary wall becomes the pericarp or fruit wall. Part B. Give the advantages of vegetative propagation. Offsprings are genetically identical, thus preserving good strains. Pollinating organs enable survival of plants in adverse conditions. Their dispersal is independent of external agents. Hence, the process is faster. Female passes all their genes to the offsprings. Suitable for propagation of plants that produce little or no viable seeds. It is easier, rapid, and more economical method of propagation. The qualities of two plants can be successfully combined to form a more superior hybrid plant. Part B. Give the disadvantages of vegetative propagation. New varieties cannot be produced except by mutation, resulting in reduced vigor and strength. It's more susceptible to diseases as the entire species, since there is no genetic variation. Leads to overcrowding and competition for nutrients unless artificially separated. Vegetatively produced plants are short-lived and small compared to seed-propagated plants. 27. State and describe the phases of the oestrus cycle. How can a couple prevent unwanted pregnancies? State and describe the phases of the oestrus cycle. An oestrus, it's the latent period with no visible sexual activity. Corpus luteum regresses. Uterine lining returns to its normal state, and new follicular growth starts. Oestrogen secretion diminishes, while progesterone secretion stops. An oestrus. Proostrus. Follicles develop in the ovary. Involution of the corporal luteum occurs. Gradual hormonal secretion reduces. Shows increase in the secretion of follicle-stimulating hormone and estrogen in preparation for the next oestrus cycle. Oestrus is the period of heat during which copulation occurs. In the ovary, the Graafian follicle matures and oestrus secretion increases. The uterine lining proliferates. Changes in the external and internal genitalia occurs. Luteinizing hormone is secreted by the pituitary gland, and it causes ovulation, release of the oocyte. Post-oestrus is the period shortly after ovulation when mating is no longer permitted. Corpus luteum develops in the ovary. Uterine glands greatly develop. Secretion of progesterone increases, while estrogen secretion diminishes. Part B. How can a couple prevent unwanted pregnancies? Use of contraceptive pills to suppress ovulation and conception. The use of male and female condoms, preventing ejaculated sperms from entering the uterus. Diaphragm or cup, which prevents the sperm from entering the uterus. Use of intrauterine device, IUD, loop, interfering with fertilization and implantation. Having sex during the safe days. Use of a diaphragm by the female. This prevents the sperm from entering the uterus, preventing conception. Vasectomy in males prevent the release of spermatozoa. Tubal ligation in female prevents the entry of the ovum in the uterus. Insertion of foam or spermicide inside the vagina before sexual intercourse to destroy the sperms. Coitus interruptus. This prevents the sperms coming to contact with the eggs. Outline the causes of infertility and how they can be treated. State the preventive measures against infertility. Outline the causes of infertility and how they can be treated. We can start with the causes of infertility. Ovulatory disorders, which can be hormonal, endocrine, or emotional stress. Anovulatory ovarian disorders, like polycystic ovarian disorders. Anovulatory thyroid disorders, like hyperthyroidic or hypothyroidic states. Chromosome disorders. Tubal dysfunction caused by pelvic inflammatory diseases. Hormonal imbalances. High vaginal acidity. It can be thick cervical mucus, impenetrable by the sperms, or cervical infections can cause recruitment of spermicide macrophages. Uterine abnormalities like absent uterus, uterine fibroids, endometriosis, impaired spermatogenesis, malformed sperms, or low sperm count. Impaired spermatic transport like epididymal malformation in males, ejaculatory dysfunction in form of anejaculation or premature ejaculation. Exposure to ionizing radiation, mutagens, and chemical agents like drugs. Autoimmune response, the body mistakenly fights its ovarian tissue. Excessive overweight or underweight can disrupt the pattern of follicle-stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone secretion. Too much prolactin secretion, this reduces the estrogen production and may cause infertility. Implantation failure due to fibroid, tumors, inflammation, uterine congenital anomalies. Outline the causes of infertility and how they can be treated. Let's now look at treatment of infertility. Hormonal therapy for anovulatory disorder by giving ovulatory agents like chemifin, HCG analog. Salpingolysis, salpingostomy, and tubal anastomosis for tubal disorders. In vitro fertilization, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, zygote intrafallopian transfer, gamete intrafallopian transfer. Intrauterine insemination, ovum overdonation, surrogacy, prevention of STDs. State the preventive measure against infertility. Avoid illicit drugs, use of tobacco, excessive alcohol consumption, avoiding exposure to industrial and environmental toxins, limit medication that can impact fertility. Exercise regularly, eat a balanced diet, limit exposures to ionizing radiation. (29) What is meant by a spore? What are the main features of sexual reproduction? Part C. State the advantages and disadvantages of sexual reproduction. What is meant by a spore? A spore is a haploid reproductive cell, usually unicellular, capable of developing into an adult without fusion with another cell. What are the main features of sexual reproduction? It involves the production of gametes of two separate parents, produced by the process called gametogenesis. Isogametes are identical, though dissimilar genetically. Anisogametes, they are heterogametes, differ slightly in size. Some species exhibit organe. The gametes greatly differ in size and activity. It involves fertilization, synegamy, the union of a male and a female gamete. Bacteria reproduce by conjugation. State the advantages of sexual reproduction. It brings about genetic variability in the population by recombining parent characteristics, enabling species to adapt to the changing environmental conditions. During the life cycle of the organism, resistant stages develop, enabling survival for advanced conditions. Formation of spores, seeds, or larvae, which may be used to disperse the offspring and so reduce the intraspecific competition. It leads to increased number of a population. Part C. State the disadvantages of sexual reproduction. May result in too lethal combination of genes. In some animals, It is affected by seasonal breeding, as organisms may sexually receptive at different moments. It relies so much on external agents, hence reducing the chances of occurrence. It is slower method of reproduction. There is wastage in production of males, many of which fail to reproduce and thus consume resources that could be applied in the production of the females. Females pass half of the genes to the offsprings because of the genome is halved at meiosis. Third, explain how negative feedback operates in control of the testicular hormone secretion of the menstrual cycle. Part B, what hormonal changes occur in the endometrium during the menstrual cycle? Briefly explain how negative feedback operates in control of testicular hormonal secretion. The hypothalamic hormone, gonadotrophin-releasing hormone, stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. Follicle-stimulating hormone stimulates spermatogenesis by causing the Sertoli cell to complete the development of spermatozoas from the spermatids. Follicle-stimulating also causes the Sertoli cells to release a peptide hormone, inhibin, that specifically inhibits follicle-stimulating hormone secretion. Luteinizing hormone stimulates Leydig cells of the testes to secrete testosterone. Testosterone stimulates the growth and the development of the spermatogonia to form sperms. Also inhibits the secretion of luteinizing hormone by feedback, negative feedback, both directly the anterior pituitary gland and indirectly by reducing the gonadotrophin-releasing hormone. If I explain how negative feedback operates in the control of the menstrual cycle. The hypothalamic gonadotrophin-releasing hormone stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to secrete both follicle-stimulating hormones and luteinizing hormone. Follicle-stimulating hormone stimulates the secretion of estrogen in the ovary. Oestrogen, in increased level, inhibits follicle-stimulating hormone secretion and causes the secretion of luteinizing hormone from the anterior pituitary gland. Luteinizing hormone stimulates ovulation and development of the corpus luteum, which secretes progesterone and also continues to secrete estrogen. Progesterone inhibits the release of luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone, thus arresting the development of any further follicles. What hormonal changes occur in the endometrium during the menstrual cycle? During follicular phase, estrogen from the ovary causes the uterine endometrium to repair and heal. During luteal phase, progesterone secreted by the corpus luteum in the ovary causes the endometrium to become highly muscular and vesicular. As the corpus luteum degenerates, rapid fall in estrogen and progesterone levels at the end of the cycle causes the endometrium to slough off in menstruation. Thank you very much for participating in reproduction in living organisms. Questions 26 to 30. Please do like, share, and subscribe.